So, this video right here, long overdue, baby. So, I'm gonna keep saying so the whole video because this was a long time coming. This took me a surprisingly long amount of time to do. And what had happened was I was trying to do something so simple, so easy, but my tiny, small brain could not figure out how to do this to save my life. And when I finally stumbled across the answer, all I could say was wow. So, what was I trying to do? All I was trying to do was make the cat sprite move to a random position, but instead of teleporting to that position, it would slide over to the next position. So, it would like move over, and then it would choose another random position and move over there. And it sounds so much easier than it really is, but at the same time, it's also extremely easy to do. So instead of taking a position, you could like make a random position and update it and then have it move towards that point. Uh, I'm thinking about that now, but really, that's just an extension of that's just an extension of what I like my fix in this video was, which is making the cat actually hit the borders of the screen. I actually believe that if I make the cat move to a random position, but it can hit the wall, it's a little bit more random because you know it won't like move back over towards you. So what we did here is we just made the cat slide to the next position. It chooses a random direction and it moves there at a certain speed that becomes its velocity, and that is it. Later on, I'm going to add things that happen when the cat hits the wall or you hit the wall or whatever, but just know that the reason this one took so fucking long to make was because it just that one problem that I had to solve took a very long amount of time. I had to do a lot of looking things up and a lot of research and a lot of just a lot of shit, just a lot of shit just to get a very simple solution. I was looking up guides and all of this stuff, and you know, I came to the answer myself uh, after fucking around with it for a really long time, which you know, an older me, or not an older me, a younger me, that would have pissed me off, like finding an answer so easy after working for such a long amount of time. But, in hindsight, thinking about it, the only reason I was able to find the answer to my problem and understand it, like, deeply was because I had went through the whole trials and tribulations of it all and fucking went through every single possible scenario and narrowed in on the one scenario that I guess works for our purposes. The only way I was able to find that was by doing everything. So even though it was easy, uh, in hindsight, like yeah, I can just make it now. What it took for me to get there, it gave me the answer. So I'm happy with that. And for the second thing that we really wanted to do was just make a menu with working buttons, and this also took me a really long time to do. So what I'm going to do for this video, because I usually try to do two things on my little checklist each session that I do, uh, these two things actually took me multiple days to do, unfortunately, because I'm that fucking stupid. Uh, all I'm going to say is this game that I'm making, not the one right now, not the second demo game that I'm making, not the third demo game that I'm going to make, but the actual game that I want to make. All I'm going to say is it is going to take a significant amount of time, but the reason I'm making three demo games before I make my the final one that I actually want to make is so that I can grasp down these concepts. That way, when I'm making it, it speeds up the process just a little bit, just a little nudge in the right direction of everything that I'm trying to do. So all my three demo games that I'm going to make is going to incorporate things that I want in my game, at least a very small portion of it. So for this one, we're making the buttons. And obviously, we're going to need to make a menu, and there's going to be a lot of menuing in terms of not even just my game, but Val's game that he's making is an RPG. So, or that he wants to make is an RPG. So there's going to be a lot of menuing in that. My game will only have, the main menus and the pause menus and things of that nature. Just the UI menus. You're not going to have to like, menu in the game to like see a menu that has buttons on it. Then you click on it. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna just the menus and the buttons are strictly going to be for UI, and then once you're actually in the game, you're going to just control the game. I really want to do a Q&A for my videos, so I'm going to start doing that. I actually just need to pull up the fucking question that I got asked on my video. So someone had actually asked me on my last video, they said, and I quote, "What is going on?" Well, I'll tell you what's going on, big bro. Uh, making the game making, game being made, and that concludes our Q&A section for devlog number 3. I've never felt more alive, all right, than I do right now. That's because this right here, this shit that you're looking at, so many days of work went into this for no reason. And I will not stop until it is a finished product. You hear me? this shit. This shit, man.